Yeah.
And then, of course, this result from James.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yes. Why he kept summoning that thing, I don't know. No, don't use I choose. No.
Okay, so my question is for Eric and Rachel. Because you guys played or voiced two different characters, when there was a scene with those two characters, were they recorded different, separately, or did you record it like all at?
So we didn't have the benefit of working together in the booth at the same time. We would record one voice, and even like if I came in, I'd do all the Brock stuff, and then I'd do all the James stuff, or whoever came in first would do their thing. It would be nice when one of us had done something ahead of time so that we could play off of each other, but a lot of times, like I would say a punchline to a joke that hadn't been set up yet. But I think that because we worked together for so many years, and also having the same director directing both sessions means that they know what they're going to ask of the other actor. We kind of really fit into the same sort of comedic thing. I think we just knew, I could see it on the page and go, I have a feeling I know what Rachel's going to do with this. I can deliver this line that will work with that. But it would have been nice to have recorded some of the things together, but we always recorded individually.
Pass it to Ash.
When you first started the journey back in the 90s, did you ever think that you would still be talking about it today and it would still be as popular or more popular as it was then?
I don't think
No, we talk about how like every show we've ever auditioned for, they always say, this is going to be the biggest show ever. And you're like, yeah. So no matter what you do, you think it's one and done. So it is pretty amazing. It's very humbling to be part of something that's such a big pop culture phenomenon. But no, I had no idea. Also, I mean, even when I think many of us are long gone, I just have a feeling the show will still, like the idea of the show will still go on. You guys come up to us with, I grew up watching it and here's my kid, they're going back and watching the original stuff. It's like, I don't know. It's probably just the magic of what we were talking about. It's a show, it's fun, it's got a good moral, it's about friendship, you can relate to these characters. It's not rocket science. If you can actually make something that's entertaining but also kind of wholesome, and I think that's got longevity. And I didn't know.
No, not at all. I had no idea, sorry. No, it's like when you're an actor and you're freelancing and you need a gig, and sometimes you're in a play, and you kind of get a feeling through rehearsal process like, no, I don't know if this is going well, or this doesn't feel quite right. But Pokémon was something that started to kind of gel for me. I thought, I would watch this show. I always felt that way. So I thought, this is enjoyable. So I don't know if anyone else will like it, but I think I would. If I were home switching channels, I would definitely watch this.
I think if they hadn't replaced us, we all certainly would still be working on it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep.
Question over here.
Hi. I was. Let me read. I basically grew up on Pokemon. I've been a fan for about 17 years. So I was about 6 years old, and I watched basically every movie up until very recently. So my question is, since we just watched the first movie, which movie was your favorite to work on? Whether that be plot line, whether that be just anything in it, essentially. I know not all of you weren't working in the later, towards the later shows.
We were all replaced after season 8. Everyone who was working on these, so it was across the board replaced.
Yeah. Oh, fair enough. So up until you were replaced.
Season 8. Yeah. So what was our favorite of those?
What was your favorite movie to work on? Yeah.
My favorite movie to work on and to watch is the Pokémon 2000. I love the music, and I think, and I'll just also add that I thought the Pokémon movies were just beautifully rendered, and I really think that the credit sequences were some of the most gorgeously animated things ever. So, so 2000 was my favorite.
Yeah, mine too.
Is that the first one? Is it called Technicalities? Oh no, mine's, I see, it's right there. Mine's the first movie. I was like, I always get confused on that.
Hey!
I know that. I choose you! The first movie is my favorite. I loved that we got to work in a giant, I choose you. A giant film, a studio with the movie was really big, and it was so exciting. It felt like we were working on something so big. And I loved the storyline, and I thought it was incredibly deep for a children's movie, and in seeing it now, I'm still more surprised about it. But it was extraordinary.
Yeah.
And they all got better and better as it went along, but that first movie was really terrific. For me, guys.
Yeah, it was fun to record that in the big soundstage. That was fun. Not in the back.
Plus, I love running up all those stairs. You know. Yes.
So hi.
Hi.
Just a little bit on the first question. I'll start it. We just watched the first movie, and Ash says a really good line where they're in the boat, and it's like, I didn't know Vikings still existed. It's like, they mostly come from Minnesota.
Yeah.
And that was
Funny.
good.
That was scripted. We didn't have room for improv and things. It was all very scripted. So yeah, brilliant, right?
Yeah. My question, actually, I don't know if you'll be able to answer it, is watching some of them, there's an absence of some of your Pokemon in the movies, like Brock's Onix, Pidgeotto, Horsey, for all of them. And I'm just kind of wondering, why was it some of the Pokemon that you guys had were in the movies and some of them weren't?
Oh, that's a great question.
I know that from the production side, I knew that one of the reasons why all the Pokemon only make the noises that are their names instead of barking or chirping and things like that were to teach you the names, so that as kids you would remember them, right? If I keep saying Squirtle, Squirtle, you're like, I think that's Squirtle. So I know that in the shows they tried to introduce them slowly, like in the seasons, right? Because there's so many of them. So I don't know where the movie fell in terms of production, like when it was made, how many of those episodes were done at that time. So where do we want to bring in 9 different new Pokemon, even though Brock might end up with them at some point? Because as kids, you just want to like digest them slowly, right? So that you remember them. I think that's probably why they weren't all there. Thank you.
So with Ash and Pikachu always being the focus, what would you say your favorite or most memorable encounter as Brock and Misty or Team Rocket would be with Pikachu and Ash?
Accepting that Ash was the focus. I think that's what you're. I'm the star! Just kidding.
So you mean for Rachel and I, like the interaction with Ash? Well, there's the two sides of that. I mean, you know, being his friend as Brock and Misty was a great example of that bond. But I lean more towards the comedic. I like the comedic bad guy moments. I like the pressure of Team Rocket is only there for a moment, and you better make it funny for the kids, and then blast off again. So I preferred those. I mean, I like Brock's stuff. But Team Rocket to me was just comedic, especially the writing for me. It was great. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, Ash and the gang kind of held the center, while Team Rocket just went nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were the funniest. Without Team Rocket, there'd be no show. You know, I mean, you made that comedy. It was so good and so smart. You guys did a great job. But it was just so.
You need the balance. You need the balance of both.
Vaudeville.
Yeah.
Hi.
Whoa.
Sorry.
It's all right.
I used to be a sound editor. I have a question regarding process. Was the movie or the television show already filmed when you went into the sound booth?
Yes.
Okay, and one more question. Do you ever have trouble syncing up what you're saying to what you saw on the screen?
Not if it was written properly.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a challenge, but it was one that I think we all three can say we loved.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
To really hit it right. And we are lucky that we worked with people who cared about hitting it right so we could really get in and work it.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen a lot of shows where it does look like it's like a Godzilla movie, right? Where it's like, it doesn't matter about the lip flap, but we were all sort of like very particular about that so that it wouldn't be a distraction. And if the line was written well, plus it's 50% acting, 50% technical when it comes to that sort of lip flap match, right? Great line, but how do I get this to fit? Is the delivery going to be right? I use the sort of like the example of if you guys hear a song on the radio for the first time and the first chorus is the same as the second chorus, by the time the second chorus comes around, you probably could sing along with it. I don't mean you'd sing it great, but you'd sing it in the same timing, sing along with it. That to me is what lip flap is about. Show me what it looks like, and then the next time you show me what it looks like, I'll say the line that fits. And that's years and years of us doing that sort of stuff, but yes, we all got really good at doing that.
Because then we just hit it on the first time.
Exactly.
Don't show me, let's just
Yeah, just do it. It's you trust the writer too, yeah.
One take wonders.
Yep, that's right.
Not always.
This is kind of a weird question, but who do you think would be a better girlfriend for Ash, Misty or Serena?
Let's see, I don't know Serena, and I'm 10, so I'm just gonna go home to my mom because she's washing my underwear. So.
But if either one of them is free on Saturday.
Dream on, Bob.
Hi, yeah. What would you say has been the biggest challenge as voice actors?
Finding other work.
Getting jobs.
Getting jobs and also not getting sick. My biggest fear is like, I'm such a germaphobe now, it's like the times that I've been sick where I can't speak and then I can't do anything, I can't sing, I can't do any voice work, and it's like, is it ever gonna come back or whatever? That's to me the biggest challenge, is to stay healthy and keep the instrument intact. You know?
Yeah, ultimately I think it is that staying healthy, maintaining the elasticity of your voice, and I think that's also within maintaining the creativity. Because sometimes, as we all have gone through, whether you're in school or work, you're working so hard and you're just so tired. And sometimes you just don't think you can be creative anymore. And I guess I'm talking about myself. But you know, to be able to continue to push yourself to the outer limits of what you can do, and both physically and creatively, and then also to have auditions and actually book them, you know, and just keep working.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the life of a freelancer is challenging in all those ways, staying healthy and keeping the momentum going.
Yeah. Question over here.
Hi. Well, the first time I ever saw Pokémon was in the dentist chair while I was getting my cavities filled.
So a feel-good memory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And my question is, as Ash, Misty, and Brock, can you say your favorite line from your favorite movie? It could be any movie.
We were in a movie?
Okay, what I mean is like your favorite line from your favorite movie as Ash, Misty, and Brock.
I got one.
Oh, that's what.
I am your father. No, you asked me my favorite line from my favorite movie. That's Brock. Right?
Well, let's see. I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots? 6 shots or only 5? So the question you gotta ask yourself is, do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
I would totally watch Dirty Misty.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Totally not the answers you expected, and there you go.
20 years later.
Hi.
Sorry, my question is not going to be nearly as funny as that one. First of all, I wanted to say there's 6 empty chairs there if anybody wants to sit down. Second, I wanted to say thank you. I watched Pokémon the first movie on VHS when I was a kid, and I want to go into voice acting when I grow up. So thank you. And my question is, where was the turning point? Like, where did it stop being a day job and you realize, like, wow, I'm in Pokémon, this is actually a big thing. The directors didn't just say, this is a big thing, and then it was a day job. It's actually huge.
That's hard to say.
Yeah, because we work at our passion, right? It's still work. I mean, and work is not a 4-letter word. Like, there's nothing wrong with like pursuing something that might be your passion, and you can also make a living doing it. But we worked hard doing it, so I never really felt there was that, we've made it. It was exciting. There were exciting moments to see the first movie do so well, and to see so many fans. That's great. But I don't know. The stardom really doesn't hit you the same way when this is what you do for a living,
And also, we never knew if the show was going to get renewed from year to year, so it was kind of like, I don't know that how big Pokémon was affected us in the booth. So in terms of like, wow, we've made it, or this thing is big, because it still was very day-to-day on that. Personally, from the minute we started working on it, I was like, I love this show. And it never was a day job for me. It was always awesome. So I think it's your mentality of how you go to work, essentially. But
yeah, I mean, your work ethic is always going to be the same, just to maintain the healthiness and the goodness of it. I mean, I had several jobs when I was working on Pokémon. I had an office job, I had a restaurant job. I recorded several episodes in my waitstaff uniform, and I smelled like hamburgers, and and I'm like,
Go Star You!
Yeah, and I'm just like wearing a T-shirt that says Patsy's Pizzeria, and it's like, well, okay, I got it. I got my shift, and so for me, I might have been a little too regimented. I might have been a little too left brain sometimes, so I didn't really feel the Pokemania very much, because I guess also as New Yorkers, New Yorkers tend to be a certain way about the day-to-day as well. So it was kind of, I didn't really consider it a day job. I thought it was kind of special. It was a show that I really liked as well. So it was, for me, it was like personalized, feeling that way every day, no matter what. And again, we didn't know when it would be renewed, or if it would be renewed.
Yeah. And definitely we all had more jobs. Pokemon was never the only thing we worked on.
And just to add to this little side note, to add to sort of the concept of your question. So my 2 least favorite words are "what if." Okay, I tell this to all you guys are a bunch of creative people. I'm sure in this room you've got people that draw and write and paint and do voice work and play music and whatever. And too many people will say to you, like, you can't, right? There's too many people that are doing the same thing. And if you're so intimidated by that, and at the end of your life you say, well, what if I had tried this, right? So this career, this was not promised to us. You want to be an actor, you're going to someday be doing panels at conventions all around the world, and people are going to love the work you did. It's like, that's not the goal. That's a bonus. It's something that's fantastic, but that's not the goal. The goal is, I want to act, I want to create, I want to entertain, whatever you want to do. So don't ask yourself later on, what if I had tried it, right? Because you don't get to this level, I could never get to this level. This is not the goal. The goal is to be working, doing what you love, and loving what you do. That's it. So try. That's success. Failure is saying, what if I had done that, right? All right.
Excellent point. Just wanted to give you guys a head up. We've got 5 more minutes to this panel.
5 more minutes?
I know, time flies.
15?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we had till 5:30. All right, so let's go really fast so we can get in as many.
Yeah, let's do it, yeah.
Sorry, I thought it went till 5:30.
Yeah, so do we.
Or
I
whatever.
thought my sound check was 5:30 to 6 and my show started at 6.
Okay, so
But I might be wrong.
so we'll go as fast as possible.
Yes, let's do it. Speed round.
All right.
Who's
That
got-
probably helps. This is a pretty quick question.
Okay.
The first time you ever heard of Pokemon at all, what did you think of it? Like your first impressions?
I did the promos for it about 6 months before the show ever came to the US. I was doing a session, and my first impression was, how do you say it? Somebody please make up your mind how you pronounce this word. That was my first impression of what are we doing, what is this about?
The only thing I had heard was that kids were getting seizures in Japan, and I still auditioned.
Yeah, at the first audition, I saw the anime they were playing it on a loop on the TV, and as soon as I saw it, I loved it.
Same.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Eric, you are correct. Your sound check is after this, so if you want it to go a little longer,
All right.
we can.
Okay.
It's up to you.
As long as you guys do me 2 quick favors. One, I need the room just like cleared for a second just so I can do my quick sound check. But the other thing is come back. Will you come back and let me play a little music for you before the end of the night?
At 6 p.m.
That's the deal, all right?
Totally at 6 p.m.
Okay, at 6 o'clock, okay? Yeah, here we go. We'll take it to 5:30. Yeah.
Alright, so this one, I guess it's more so towards Rachel, but like you two have something to add, like feel free. Mostly what I want to know is, after the whole replacement ordeal, you ended up coming back to the show for a little bit as Jim later Baleen in the Center region, a couple other minor roles. More or less, what I want to know is like, how did that sort of come about? And now that it's been a decade since then, would you consider doing it again to show up on the show like other people have come back?
They just called me into audition. I wasn't really expecting it. I went in and auditioned, and I thought, actors act. It's a job, and thank you for the audition opportunity. I was cast, and I did one arc, 3 episodes, and so I didn't really, and I didn't go back after that. So I mean, if they were to ask all of us back, I think we all.
Oh yeah, remember we enjoyed working on the show. We had nothing to do with being replaced. That has nothing to do with us.
And also being called to be on the show again or whatever, none of that's in our hands.
No, we have no control.
Hi.
Hey.
So what I was wondering is, you guys were talking about how there was a great balance to the show's writing between the serious moments, the comedic moments. Did you guys ever have any say in the scripts yourselves?
Well, later on, I think once the A-team was no longer writing and doing stuff for the show, I know for a fact that the 3 of us were very particular about the lines that were given to us by maybe a new writer that didn't really do the research to understand the nuances of our characters. Without being divas, we would say, James wouldn't really say it like that, or that's not really an Ash line, it's too mean, or things like that. I know that we were all very sensitive to that. At a certain point, especially in like the 4th or 5th year of working on this, we pretty much know the characters well enough to make those choices, but we didn't write lines. We might help tweak something that's not appropriate for that character. Right? Yeah.
I would say, quite honestly, though, when the writing changed, I did find that Ash wasn't as positive, so I was able to mention that, but really they didn't want to hear from me, and at one point, Misty had to say, like, wherefore art thou something, and wherefore art thou means why, and this was, where are you, and I was like, but this is wrong, and they were like, look, I don't care. Like, we need your input. And I said, but you're teaching children wrong things. And that meant so much to me, and that wasn't important to them. So it's not to be mean about it, but it wasn't really something where this was a collaborative thing. We went and did our part, and it wasn't so much about how can we all work together on it, I thought.
Right. Yes.
So during the time that Pokemon was in its prime, we had competition in the form of Digimon. So when that show came about, how did you react when you just had another show that also dealt with monsters?
Does it matter that I never heard of it until I didn't know it existed?
My line is, was I in the show? I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Like honestly, like I didn't even watch Pokemon that much on the air because I was working on the show so much in the studio. I wasn't watching Saturday morning cartoons.
Was it on Saturday?
I don't know.
No, I mean I don't know.
So I mean, did you? I mean, really? Like honestly, I was old school anime. I was Battle of the Planets. I was, there was things like that. So yeah, it really didn't affect us. As long as we had a job to go to and continue to work, you could put as many shows as you want against us. I'm sorry, wasn't the movie that you just watched the top grossing anime film of all time? So, I mean, bring on your Digimon.
Yeah, I think
that's what I'm saying.
Pokemon can arguably be said to have ushered in a whole bunch of anime to the television airwaves. It became it started to show up more and more and more. And Digimon was a show that showed up. And it's like, well, that's another monster type of genre, and then you also had all these other different types of anime shows. And SpongeBob SquarePants came out in '99, I think. And I remember looking at the New York Post, the cover of the New York Post. The headline was "Poke Gone." Because SpongeBob SquarePants beat Pokemon in the ratings, and it's a New York Post, and they go for the shocker. And I'm thinking, why are they comparing everything? It's like shows stand on their own merit, and they have their strengths, and so I didn't really understand that approach.
And I don't think we've ever compared or thought,
No,
oh, we're
never,
better or worse.
never.
We just are working.
Just better dubbing.
But we also. Oh, please go.
I just meant the lip flap actually matched. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, if we have to have a dub down.
That's what I'm saying. Bring it. Bring
Hey,
it.
Veronica.
A dub battle.
Do you remember me? It's long, and I really love your series so much. The main thing I wanted to know, because I got a little song for you, because only my question is, you are expired Pokemon series for the past 23 years of seasons. I really love you so much. So, I really want to know, Brock, is this your very favorite characters? What are your favorite expires your favorite moments, Brock moments?
Anytime I see Jenny or Joy.
Yes. What about Ivy? Well, Ivy's blonde.
We don't.
I want some true, I know that wasn't destiny. Oh, sorry, that was too much. Thank you.
That's the thing, Pokemon causes you to break out in song.
Yeah.
And dance.
I promise they'll be back at their tables. You can serenade them then, please. I know. There's so many people who want to ask questions, and I apologize for not getting to everyone, but I have my final two right here.
Let's do it.
Okay, so let's do it.
Bring it.
Hi.
Hey.
So, how did you develop your voices for your characters?
Great. We watched the clip in the beginning, and we had to match what we were watching, right?
I never saw any of the character. I didn't know what the characters looked like, and I had no idea. I think when I auditioned for Pokemon, Jessie not only didn't have her English name yet, too many of the characters did. I think Ash was called Alex and Casey at first.
Yeah.
And so we hadn't settled on that. And then Jessie was Musashi. And there was a one-sentence description of her, and that's what I had to go on. So it was she's this age, and she's this temperament, she's the villain, and these are her lines. And you just do your best, as you do in any audition. You just go for the tonality, the age range, what you can imagine. So I never saw a picture of her until the first day of recording. I remember when the image flashed up on the TV, and and I said, wow, look at her hair. So that's what she looks like? He's like, yeah. And I said, okay. So that was, you just do your best guess, I guess, is the best way to say it.
For me, when they asked me to play Brock, and they said he's a 15-year-old boy, I imitated my hero growing up as a voice actor. Is Casey Kasem, and so basically I was doing Casey Kasem a lot higher, like Shaggy, but without the pot. That's where I decided to do that, and then I had to imitate Ted in the very beginning when I had to do a sound alike for him as James after the first 5 or 6 episodes, and it was very low register, and I was like, well, that was cool. But once I realized they were comedic bad guys, I decided that James needed to be related to Fraser and Niles Crane. And so I just thought of all of the guys I played sports against in school, who wore blue blazers and khaki pants. And that's what I did with James.
I matched the Japanese actress who plays Ash, and then I thought of Spritle in Speed Racer, and also Rudolph in all those little stop action.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
So there.
Awesome.
Yep.
Hey.
No pressure, this is the last one, so let's make it really exciting.
My question is for Veronica. I was wondering, when you went in to audition, did you go in specifically for Ash? And as a female, how was that doing the voice of a male?
I did not go into audition specifically for anything. I just went into audition for whatever there was that we were auditioning for. I had played Jim Hawkins in Treasure Island on stage actually before that. So for me, it didn't. I was auditioning for a character, not necessarily a boy or a girl. And I think it speaks to the universality of Ash that you can be anyone and play him, essentially. So I didn't think about, I don't know how to do this. It helped that we were supposed to match the voice that existed, so I could key into that.
Did you read for the other female characters on the show? When you auditioned, did you read
I'm
for?
sure I did.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
I think everybody read.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was doing,
list.
I was doing a play in,
Yep.
outside of Boston, so I was taking the train down to audition and going back for rehearsal and like back and forth and working on a soap opera, and I was like all over, so I don't remember a lot.
I'm
of
sure
that.
you read for it, all of it, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I think we all did.
Yeah, yeah. I even read for the female characters.
Is that it?
Yes.
You guys,
it is.
thank you so much. So much for coming out. It's incredible that you've shared this time with us. We're at our tables the rest of today, tomorrow. Are you back at the table today?
Yep.
I'm back at the table tonight. Eric's doing his I was going to say your band, but your show.
Yeah, I'm playing a solo acoustic show in this room. It's at 6 o'clock. I play all original rock and roll. You see the other side of what I do, and I love sharing that with my anime fans. So if you stick around, I promise you it'll be a good show, and I might bring you up to dance with me on stage, which is always a great video to share.
So we'll be downstairs or wherever this in this huge building. We'll be at our tables again all day tomorrow too. So most of you I think we've seen, but I look forward to seeing all of you. But thank you
Yeah, thank
so
you.
much. Thank you.